Welcome to Cozy Reading Club, the podcast where we read the book and tell you about it so you don't have to.
And welcome back, everyone.
So, last time, we left off at a pretty tense moment, actually. A truce had just been called.
That's right. The idea was, that the whole war might be settled by just one duel. Menelaus versus Paris.
Exactly. Winner gets Helen, gets the treasure, war's over. Seemed almost too good to be true.
It did offer that possibility, didn't it? A kind of neat end to years of fighting.
Well, spoiler alert, it was too good to be true. Today, as we dive into books 7, 8, and X of the Iliad, we'll see that truce just completely crumble.
Right, almost immediately.
And we're thrown straight back into the fighting, but with some heavy divine interference and even a bit of nighttime spy stuff.
Yeah, the breakdown of that truce happens so fast. It really tells you something about how deep the hatred runs, I think.
Definitely. So let's get into book 7. We start with the preparations for this big duel. Very formal. You have the heralds bringing out wine, animals for sacrifice. It feels very official. And Agamemnon makes this really powerful oath, calling on Jove, Zeus, and all the gods.
Basically saying if Paris wins and doesn't hand over Helen and the loot, then Troy is doomed.
Yeah, putting divine weight behind the agreement. High stakes.
Absolutely. It's not just a promise between mortals anymore.
Then the duel starts. Paris takes his shot.
And it's, well, not his best moment. Misses Menelaus' shield.
Right. Then Menelaus throws his spear, hits the shield, pierces the arm.
A much better strike, and then he actually gets hold of Paris.
He does. He grabs him by the belt, by his helmet strap, and starts dragging him. Imagine that.
Paris is basically being hauled off the battlefield.
Wow.
Defeated.
It looks like it's all over. But then Aphrodite.
Yes. She's always got Paris's back, doesn't she?
Seems like it. The strap just snaps magically, you assume, and poof.
Paris is gone, whisked away in a cloud.
Leaving Menelaus standing there, absolutely furious, shouting that he won. Which, he kind of did.
Technically, yeah. But his opponent vanished. It shows how the gods can just override everything.
Totally. So the duel's a bust. The truce is shaky. What happens in the Trojan camp?
Well, there's some debate. Antenor, who seems pretty sensible, says, look, let's just give Helen back.
Makes sense. Cut their losses.
But Paris refuses? No way.
Of course not. And then things escalate because Jove himself gets involved.
Right. He actually commands Minerva Athena to go down and make sure the truce is broken for good.
So even the king of the gods wants the fighting to continue.
Seems that way. He sends Minerva, who, already favors the Greeks anyway.
And she goes straight to the Trojan lines, finds Pandarus.
And convinces him to take a shot at Menelaus.
Which he does. Hits him with an arrow.
Wounds him, not fatally. Machaon treats him, but still, that's it.
The truce is officially shattered. Battle resumes instantly.
Yeah, no hesitation. And you see Agamemnon step up as a leader again.
Right. He's reviewing the troops, pumping them up, praising the brave ones, yelling at the slackers.
Giving that general speech. And Nestor's there, too, always the example of good military order.
It's quite a scene. Heavy fighting, lots of casualties on both sides straight away.
And watching it all unfold. Apollo and Minerva, from a distance, still involved, just observing for now.
Okay, so that brings us to book 8. And things take a bit of a turn here, don't they?
Big turn. Jove climbs Mount Ida, looks down at the battlefield.
And lays down the law.
Pretty much. He forbids any other gods from interfering. Full stop.
Wow. So no more divine help for either side. Well, except from him, presumably.
Exactly. And the effect is immediate. The Trojans, led by Hector, start dominating.
Hector really comes into his own here.
He does. He drives the Greeks back, pushes them almost all the way to their ships. It's a huge reversal.
The Greeks must be panicking. Agamemnon's despairing.
Understandably. Their divine patrons are sidelined. But not everyone listens to Jove.
Oh, who tries to defy him?
Juno and Minerva, they just can't stand seeing the Greeks getting beaten.
So what do?
They actually get in their chariot ready to charge down and help.
Ah, bold move. Does it work?
Not a chance. Jove sees them immediately, sends Iris, the messenger goddess, flying down.
With a message, I take it.
Oh, yeah. Basically, turn around right now, get back to Olympus, or I will blast your chariot and injure you severely. Serious threats.
Yikes. So even powerful goddesses like Juno and Minerva have to obey Jove?
Absolutely. Shows the hierarchy. Jove's word is final. They turn back, furious but beaten.
So the book ends with the Greeks in a really bad spot.
Very bad. Night falls, the fighting stops for the day, and Hector's feeling confident.
He boasts, doesn't he, about finishing them off.
Yeah. He says if Achilles doesn't come back tomorrow, he might just wipe them out completely.
And the Trojans camp outside the city walls for the night.
They do. Their campfires are burning all across the plain. It's a very visual symbol of their dominance at this point. A dark time for the Greeks.
Really sets a gloomy scene. Which leads us perfectly into Book X, a very different feel to this one.
Completely different. It all happens during that same night. Stealth mission time.
Right. The Greeks hold a council. Moves pretty terrible, lots to talk about, just giving up and sailing home.
Understandable, given the day they've had. But Nestor pipes up.
Old Nestor, always got a plan. What does he suggest?
He says, look, conventional fighting isn't working right now. We need intelligence. Let's send the spy.
Smart. Find out what the Trojans are planning, maybe find a weakness.
Exactly. And Diomedes immediately volunteers. Brave as ever.
But he wants backup.
He does. Says he wants a companion. And who steps up?
Let me guess. Ulysses.
The man himself. Resourceful, cunning Ulysses. Perfect partner for Diomedes on a spy mission.
The ultimate stealth duo. Meanwhile, are the Trojans having similar ideas?
Turns out, yes. Hector holds his own counsel. He also wants to know what the Greeks are up to. Are they planning to flee? Are they guarding their ships?
So they need a spy too. Who volunteers for them?
A guy named Dolan. He's apparently known for being fast.
Okay. What's his motivation? Patriotism.
Not exactly. He's tempted by a pretty big prize Hector offers.
Which?
Achilles' horses, the immortal ones. If Dolan successfully spies on the Greeks, Hector promises him those horses.
Wow. That's quite the reward. So Dolan agrees.
Oh, yeah. Hector seals it with an oath, and Dolan sets off.
So we have Diomedes and Ulysses sneaking out of the Greek camp, and Dolan sneaking out of the Trojan camp.
Headed towards each other in the darkness. You can see where this is going.
They run into each other.
Almost literally. Diomedes and Ulysses spot Dolan, chase him down, and capture him.
Poor Dolan. Outmatched there.
Definitely. And he's not exactly brave under pressure.
He talks?
He sings like a canary, basically. To try and save his life, he tells them everything.
Everything
like the positions of all the different Trojan allies camped around the city. Crucially, he mentions the Thracians.
The Thracians. Are they important?
They just arrived as new allies, led by King Rhesus. And Dolan mentions Rhesus has these incredible horses, white as snow, fast as the wind, apparently famous.
Ah, horses again. Seems to be a theme. So Diomedes and Ulysses now have this intel. What do they do with Dolan?
Well, let's just say Dolan doesn't make it back to claim those horses. Diomedes deals with him quite decisively.
Right. Grim business espionage.
It is, but now they have valuable information. They know where Rhesus and the Thracians are camped, slightly apart from the others, probably feeling secure as newcomers.
An opportunity.
Exactly. They decide to act on it immediately. They sneak over to the Thracian camp.
And launch a raid.
A swift and deadly one. Diomedes killed Rhesus in his sleep, along with 12 of his warriors.
Wow. Brutal efficiency.
While Diomedes is doing that, Ulysses is untying those magnificent horses Rhesus brought.
They steal the horses.
And they do. They kill the king, kill his guards, take the famous horses, and slip away back towards the Greek camp just as dawn is starting to break.
What a night. From despair to a successful, if brutal, special operation.
A major intelligence coup, and they've taken out an ally and gained these amazing horses.
So they return to the Greek camp, heroes of the hour, with captured intelligence and these prized steeds.
Which really leaves us on a bit of a cliffhanger, doesn't it? Having gained crucial intelligence and stolen prize steeds in a daring night raid, what will the Greeks do with this newfound advantage as the dawn approaches and the fighting is set to resume?
That was our deep dive into Books 7, 8, and X of the Iliad. Join us next time on Cozy Reading Club to see what unfolds as the war continues.
This was Cozy Reading Club, the podcast where we read the book and tell you about it so you don't have to. If you like this series, we invite you to take a look at other series in our podcast and leave a nice review on the platform you are listening this on.